Introduction. Let's talk about Scream 7. After the abrupt departure of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega, due to controversies outside the film, young actresses going off on political opinions, the franchise decided to return to its most iconic figure, Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott. Franchise context Scream 6 ended by exploring Samantha Carpenter's internal struggle with her past and the shadow of Billy Loomis. It wasn't a perfect film, but it was highly entertaining. Inherited problems. At times, Scream 6 fell into somewhat cringe moments, especially involving Kirby Reed and Mindy Meeks Martin, whose dialogue and flirtations disrupted the suspenseful tone. First act. The movie keeps the franchise tradition of the opening kill. This time, it happens in an Airbnb inspired by slasher films. The concept is creative, but also disturbing, since within the saga's universe, it feels too soon to commercialize recent tragedies. Second act. Sidney Prescott. The second act focuses on catching up with Sidney Prescott, her family, her husband, and her children. Only the eldest daughter remains at home, while the two younger kids are staying with their grandmother. Most likely a writing decision to avoid narrative complications involving small children. The creator returns. A very positive element is the return of Kevin Williamson, the original creator of the characters and story. His influence can be felt in the more classic tone of the franchise. Third act. The threat. This is where the real action begins. The killings escalate, and Stu, one of the original Ghostface killers, contacts Sidney through a video call, threatening her daughter from the school theater. The problem with Stu, personally, this was one of the weakest aspects. Stu is now a man in his 50s but still talks like a teenager. The character feels artificial and unconvincing from the start. I would have preferred a broken, menacing, and ruthless version of Stu. The new generation McKenna Grace stands out as Hannah Truman, one of Sidney's daughter's best friends. Tatum Evans also appears, played by Isabel May. While she performs well, she doesn't yet seem to have the presence needed to carry the franchise if Hollywood continues it out of pure greed. The Meeks Martin siblings. The Meeks Martin siblings return. Mindy is less annoying this time, but once again the film relies on explaining events through movie logic within the movie. This meta approach is starting to feel repetitive. The suspects. The rest of the cast functions as potential killers and future cannon fodder. Lucas Bowden, Ben Brown, Chloe Parker, and other characters designed to keep audiences constantly guessing. Standout villains, Ethan Embry as Marco and Anna Camp as Jessica Bowden stand out as psychopaths. Embry's transformation, from a 90s teen idol into a 2026 lunatic, feels surprisingly believable. The realism problem. Joel McHale as Mark Evans, Sidney's husband, works well, but the movie once again breaks believability. The character survives more than 10 stab wounds, which is difficult to accept. Narratively, a tall, highly trained police officer needed to be removed from the story earlier to maintain tension, especially since the film ultimately centers on a woman facing danger. Conclusion. The greatest strength of Scream 7 is its central theme. Sidney teaching her daughter how to survive and take control of her own destiny. The idea of personal responsibility works very well. However, in my opinion, it's time to close Sidney Prescott's chapter and renegotiate the return of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega to give the franchise a new future. Thanks for watching Dante de Leon series. Subscribe, like, share, and comment with your opinion. Follow me on my social media, and don't forget to visit the sister channel Antología Villana, where I publish horror stories in Spanish.